Good evening, everyone. I'm Meenakshi Kaul. Today I'm with Mr. Raj Nehru, the youngest Vice Chancellor in the country, a people's person who has brought this university to such a height in very short span of time. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing time to have this discussion on Agmon. Sir, our question is, what was the concept and the inspiration behind starting the Skill University, since this is a very new concept in our country?
Thank you for organizing this small brief interview on understanding the concept of university and why this university has been established and what all this university is doing. So let me share with you one important thing that has happened in the country in the last couple of decades. That the output of education in the form of getting students ready for employment, making them job ready, meeting the requirements of the industry, the demand that the industry has, and aligning their skill sets to the demands of the industry, that has somewhere fallen in the cracks. And that is one of the reasons where it has necessitated the need of educational institutions to relook at the models that they are currently operating with, given so much of change and the shift that has happened in the job market. That gap today between what we are producing in education institutions and what is the demand of the market, that gap has necessitated to create skill universities. Haryana has taken the lead in this, and the fundamental objective is that we will create such a skill set, we will create such an institution that produces youngsters with such skill sets in the state that are completely job ready, that addresses the issues of unemployment, that addresses the issues of livelihood, that addresses the issues of unemployability. So with those objectives, and given that we are a young nation with huge demographic potentialities, it is important that the state, country comes up with such solutions that can harness and leverage this young population. And if we don't do it quickly, we may have this demographic dividend becoming a demographic demon. So with those objectives, to make the youngsters employable, strong and reliable for the job markets, job ready, and support the market requirements, this institution has been established with that mission.
Thank you, and that leads us to the next question, that is, you have a very unique concept of earn while you learn in the university. So could you please throw some more light on it, because this is the newest concept in the country.
So Meenakshi, let me tell you one important thing. Technology today is not only game changing. Technology today is also life changing. Now when we say that, we have to make sure that students who are getting ready for embracing this technology, they are completely equipped with the actual requirements and the way they have to perform in the industry. Now, most of the education institutions today do not have that kind of capabilities inside their institutions to make the youngsters ready and aligned for the technological shift that has happened in the industry. So the first thing is, how do we address that issue? Another important aspect that I find is today, most of the students, they struggle when they complete their education to really find a job, or even if in most of the cases they have found a job, for them transitioning from an academic institution to an industrial institution is very difficult, because the value systems are very, very different, and they struggle to stabilize themselves. They are not completely aligned with the demands of the industry, the work values that are required. The third challenge that we face today is the youngsters' ability to deal with the financial management aspects. Financial independence is a big challenge with the students. Their continuous dependence on the parents during their educational times is preventing them to expose into financial independence related matters. So they do not know how to manage finances when they actually get into the job market, and they struggle in first few years. Besides this, the need for communication skills, team working, creativity, and many other critical skills that are required, which you can only learn when you are exposed to the work world, they are today actually not completely provided to the students during the education time. And given this, there is so much of unemployability. We have seen India Skills Report consistently for last 4 or 5 years, and we have found that students are not job ready. And all this has compelled us to think about how can we rework on this, how can we address this issue. And that is when university uniquely brought in the dual education industry integrated model, and in that integrated model we brought the concept of earn while you learn, which is also the concept that promotes learn by doing and earn while you are learning. So that is the objective behind it. Now what is happening? One semester students spend in the classroom, another semester students spends in the industry. So alternate semesters they spend in the industry. Now the advantage of this is, one, the entire curriculum is designed in such a way where we have got the industry buy-in. We have brought them into our board of studies, they work with us and they develop and design the entire curriculum because they know what they need in the industry. Second is when students go through this earn while you learn module, they not only have the theoretical concepts cleared in their classroom, they have the opportunity of exploring and applying those concepts in some of the opportunities they get while they are working in the industry. So it's their application opportunity that they get. And today I feel that the 4 pillars of education, which is general education, blended what we also call digital education, then vocational education and apprenticeship, all these 4 need to be combined together to create a transformational output from the institution. So I think the way we have organized it is making our students to roll up their sleeves and dirt their hands on the machines or in the actual work and become ready for the employment by the time they are hitting the employment market when they complete their education. They are completely job ready. Besides this, during the period of study and work, they are fully empowered for their financial management decisions. They learn how to earn and they also learn how to manage that earning. So with that, their empowerment also grows, their self-esteem grows, their self-direction grows, their self-respect grows, their the strengths that they have inside them, they also grow, and that's why I feel it eventually contributes to the Atmanirbhar Bharat, because when students become Atmanirbhar from the point of view of skilling, from the point of view of earning, they become more sustainable resources in the market. And the last thing I feel is the continuous shift and the change in the technology. This opportunity of working in the industry gives them exposure to work on latest machines, new equipments, new processes, the changes that the industry has embraced. If they had worked in the traditional education, they would have only come to know about all those shifts only when they finish their education and then when they go inside a job. But with this model, the students get all those opportunities to know and learn in advance and prepare themselves, and it gives them a lot of thinking stuff, and their ability to think, their ability to solve a problem, their ability to creatively innovate and ideate while they are working in the industry. And most important thing is their emotional stability, because they learn the discipline of the industry. They have to work within those procedures and compliances of the industry. They have to work collaboratively with other team members in the industry. That gives them opportunity to look at their emotions and set that emotional intelligence. Finally, I feel once the students complete this education in this dual education model, earn and learn, by the time they have finished their education, they not only have a choice to whether to go into the labor market and work, they have another choice, because they are so much exposed to the industry and the nuances of the industry, how industry works. They become the self-employment people as well. So rather than becoming a job seeker, they turn towards becoming a job provider. They may open their own entrepreneurship. They may go for their own startup. And because they have learned the productive issues of the industry, how the productivity is managed in the industry, profitability is managed in the industry, workforce is managed in the industry, technology is managed in the industry, they become more successful entrepreneurs when they decide that they want to start their own work. So this earn and learn is going to be a transformation in India. I'm sure in the coming days, this would be one of the mantras to really create a revolution in the country and address the issue of unemployment as well.
Great. So it won't be wrong by saying that you are creating a stepping stone for students towards the Atmanirbhar Bharat. How is this university helping students for their lifelong learning? As in, what is that they are learning from here so that they can take it lifelong?
See, it's not about the students' lifelong learning. It's about everyone getting the opportunity of lifelong learning. And what is lifelong learning? Lifelong learning is that the day you are born and until the day you are you push off from this world, do you get enough opportunities to learn? Which means across the life, you get opportunities to learn. This is a university that has created various methods and opportunities of curating lifelong learning models. For example, recognition of prior learning in higher education. Now, this is a very unique concept. You have finished your some basic primary or higher secondary education and you have entered the labor market, and India still needs these youngsters to move up in their education and do their graduation. But if you look at today the data in the country, between 18 to 23 years of age, more than 45 to 50 million of the youngsters have entered labor market without any higher education qualification. Now, they will remain continuously in that zone of non-graduates, and that will reduce the opportunities of livelihood, sustainable opportunities of livelihood, increased opportunities of earning. That will reduce, that will not allow them to move up in the value chain of earning. So, the lifelong learning model in the form of recognition of prior learning is a great opportunity, because those who have entered labor market without any higher qualifications, we are trying to bring them back by examining their current experience, evaluating their current experience, giving proper credits to their current experience, and then allowing them to only complete those components which they have not gone through, which they have not learned, which they are not exposed. So what will happen eventually? That they will get opportunity to re-enroll in the higher education, and it will increase the gross enrollment ratio in the country, in the state. That's number one. Number two, the most important thing is, they will get more learning inputs which they can combine with their current experience, and their thinking abilities will also go up. So their productivity in their current job will go up. Their ability to respond and react and rework their current models of work will also grow up. Besides this, I feel that the students, when they get the opportunity of studying and combining it with their expertise, their sustainability for the long term grows up. Because you see, in most of the organizations today, if you are not qualified for certain roles, you don't get promoted.
Absolutely.
So when you get the opportunity through this recognition of prior learning in higher education, what you also call lifelong learning, when you get these opportunities, your potential to grow in the current organization or in the new employment market also goes up. So that way, when you grow, you release the lower opportunities for the freshers to come in. So this creates opportunities for freshers, this creates opportunities for them to grow up and grow in the organization from the career perspective. And lastly, most of the youngsters, when they combine their experience with new learnings through the new education where they have enrolled, they sometimes are so bright and brilliant that they would want to go and start their own business. And that can create more employment opportunities, that can create more employability, that can create more entrepreneurs in the country. And I think this model can create a tectonical shift. And our new education policy is also talking about the recognition of prior learning. And I think this is a right time. All the institutions in the country need to look at it, and the way we have started in Shri Vishwakarma Skill University, it can be a great example. We have already started a pilot with Jai Bharat Maruti JBM in some of the programs like tool and die engineering, mechanical manufacturing. I think in the coming days, in many job roles, we can have these programs coming in and provide opportunities to millions of youths in the country to re-enroll in the higher education and learn and earn more sustainably for the future.
How is SVSU helping in bringing a social change in the country?
That's a very good question, Meenakshi, and this university in a very short period of time has established some good examples, and I think they can be sustained for a long-term perspective. So let me give you a few examples. I think the job of this university is to not only work in the future technologies like we are doing today in the area of tool and die, robotics, mechatronics, banking, healthcare, retail, and many other areas we are working. The job of this university is also to establish those conventional areas, also work in those conventional areas and how traditional areas and how we can establish them from the point of view of creating and linking them to the livelihood opportunities. I'll give an example. We have Banchari, one of the important folk arts in the state. And this Banchari folk art has been slowly dying in the last many decades. And the artists of this who have been pursuing, they have grown old, and slowly this one of the important folk art which has a Braj Bhasha included into it, a very sweet melodious songs and lyrics that it has been slowly dying. So what this university did, it did a lot of research and it compiled all these songs, converted them into a Banchari Lok Granth, and from Banchari Lok Granth, which has helped us to secure and create a safety for future for all those songs. Besides that, we converted that into a program, a diploma and a certificate program in Banchari folk art. Now what has it done? It has actually suddenly brought Banchari folk art into the limelight. One, there is now a big talk going on that this Banchari folk art is our tradition, culture. We must let it survive for the future. Second, students are now applying in this, and most of these students are not only learning Banchari folk art, they are also learning the music, they are also learning the instruments, they are also learning the other nuances of how to connect with the market. And with this Banchari folk art, they are able to now with pride go to various organizations and go and give performances. And that has opened the opportunities of livelihood for the youngsters. Now these students who don't have any formal education qualification with them, with the help of Banchari folk art, which is our tradition, which we are establishing letting it survive for longer duration, is providing opportunities to the most ignored sections in the society, and now they are coming in the forefront and they are taking this legacy forward, not only from the point of view of setting it as a cultural aspect for the state, but also making this as a livelihood opportunity for them. So that's number one. It's creating a social recognition for Banchari folk art and at the same time providing them opportunities. Second is, you see, in our university, we have seen ethnic food of Haryana. We have seen, when you go to the hotels, restaurants, you see a Chinese cuisine, you see a Italian cuisine, you see a Punjabi food, you see South Indian food, you see a Marathi food. We have all those cuisines created. We never talk about the Haryanvi cuisine. And with the bringing of ethnic food, we have tried to establish how Haryanvi food can also be as one of the cuisine. So our youngsters are today learning the nuances of the ethnic food and sweet making. You go to the market with your children, they ask for pizzas and burgers. But there is so much in our ethnic repertoire that's in the form of food that our children are not aware about it. That is because we have not pursued it very well. With bringing an ethnic food diploma, our students are learning how to make the traditional foods and then also connecting them with the market, how to sell it in the market. So re-establishing the brands of ethnic food, creating the ethnic food as a strength, and letting our own states to youngsters as karigars of our ethnic food and making them brand ambassadors of the ethnic food. It's a big social change. The way you look at the food today, the way our youngsters look at the food today, these programs can completely make youngsters to relook at the way we look at the international food versus the national food that we have. Then the third important thing, and that's not only from it's wrong, it's also from the point of view of health. You see today most of the international foods that we today are famous in our country, they are also called the junk food. They add to so much of health ailments which many of the children don't know. But these traditional foods, they are not junk foods, they are the healthy foods. They not only give you a good health, they also give you longevity. The third thing is, in our university, in last 3-4 years, we have created such an environment and ecosystem that the women are now coming forward and joining those professions which traditionally they have been dominated by the men. Take the case of welding. See, in last 2-3 years, we have established welding as a hardcore competence in the university through various programs, and women have been encouraged to come forward. We had a couple of women going for national championships in the welding area and winning the national championships and bringing laurels to the university. Now, this is a big social change. When you let women to participate in such job roles which have been traditionally governed by another gender, it is also a social change. It opens the horizon for thinking and prepares society and one of the constituent of society for different things. So with those aspects, I think there are many other areas which we are going to work in the future. I think with all those interventions, I think this university is preparing for a big social change in the coming days. We are trying to establish skill as where dignity for that skilling is created. Today the skilling is not seen with great honor. Our university's job is to establish that honor for the skill-based program, establish that honor for the vocational program, and create the dignity for labor and create the social change in the country.
How was your experience of transitioning from the corporate world to the academia of the country? And what are your future plans for the university?
It has not been a very easy transition. There are different perceptions when we are in the corporate world about the government sector and the academia. But the realities are far, far than what you actually think. The shifting from corporate world, from a very well-established career in the corporate versus the government there are so many procedural challenges that we face day in and day out. In the government sector, you have to comply with so many repeated procedures that it sometimes creates a lot of roadblock. Most of the processes, they still are requiring they require a lot of streamlining. That is hampering the performance and progress of many people who wish to come and contribute in the government sector. But saying that, I think last 4 years have been phenomenal. I think what we have done in last 4 years is really exciting. The government has appreciated what we have done in a very short period of time. We have not only been able to complete almost 60-70% of the institutional design work, construction and campus readiness. We have also at the same time created a huge number of programs, partnerships with the industries, and set up the dual education industry integrated model, and trained hundreds and thousands of students through different ways and means. We have set that credibility. It has not been easy, and I don't think my personal journey could be having the achievements only because of me. I think I had the blessing of a good team, very, very cooperative, very, very passionate team from the academic side, from the administration side, who have believed in what we created as a vision, which we created a shared vision, and then we pursued that. And I think that has been the strength of what we have been able to achieve. And over and above the faith of the head of the state, who has believed in what we are trying to do, we have aligned it to the national vision of developing a robust skill ecosystem in the state and the country. Besides what we will be doing in the future, I think this institution will become one of the transformative hubs for converting and transforming youngsters to employable resources who would not have only opportunities with them, but they would have also learned how to create opportunities in the market. So with that, I think it would work a very transformative institution for the youths of the state and the country in coming days. I think very soon we'll be in the campus, and once we are in the campus, the institution is targeting more than 60,000 youths every year through various methods, campus and affiliation method. We are targeting more than 60,000 youths, and I think that is going to contribute towards the growth of the industry, growth of the market, and contributing towards the employment market through our youths.
This was our first edition of Agmn. Agmn for the students, Agmn for a bright future. Thank you.